Seriously. Martin Scorsese is doing a PG-rated movie. No, like, guns or swearing or violence, nothing? Wow.
Some people have to learn. Some people wait to turn. Some people have to fight. Some people give their lives. Some people don't believe. Yeah. But I was born a champion.
Hugo. Now, Hugo is based off the book The Invention of Hugo Cabaret by Brian Selznick. I was really pumped to go see this movie, especially because of Martin Scorsese, because he's one of the best directors ever. And plus, it had a fantastic cast. Ben Kingsley, Chloe Moretz, Emily Mortimer, Christopher Lee, Jude Law, Sacha Baron Cohen. This is going to be good. But this movie was way better than I expected it to be. It's actually phenomenal. Well, Hugo takes place in the 1930s about a young boy named Hugo who's played by Astor Butterfield. At least that's what I think his name is. And he loses his father in a fire, so he's living in a train station, hiding from security guards and remotely focusing on Sacha Baron Cohen. Then sooner or later he meets a girl named Isabel, and they become friends. And then sooner or later he shows her a project that his father worked on before he passed away. And they find out how to fix it. They just gotta solve sort of like the story of it. And the adventure ensues. Now, the acting was surprisingly awesome. Astor Butterfield, I think his name is, was surprisingly very well. What wasn't really surprising because I've seen him in The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, and he was freaking phenomenal in that movie. And he also was in this movie. I mean, he's a really good child actor. Most child actors nowadays are really bad, but he did a really good job. Chloe Moretz did really good in this movie. She's a really good young actress. I loved her in Kick-Ass, loved her in Let Me In, and she did. And of course, I loved her in this movie. I think her career could go very, very big. Same with Astor Butterfield. Both of their careers could launch. Ben Kingsley, I think, did the best performance out of everybody in this movie. I think that he did absolutely phenomenal. I just loved him in this movie. I mean, sometimes his character can be kind of mean, but then you realize why his character is so mean or depressed. And I love that. And he played the character perfectly. I don't think anyone could top him. I think he could be nominated for Best Actor in a Supporting Role. That's just what I think. So what about this movie works? It surprisingly has really good directing. Well, not really surprisingly, because it was freaking obvious. Martin Scorsese is one of the best directors in cinematic history. I mean, Taxi Driver, Goodfellas. I mean, Shutter Island even. So that movie is so underrated. People are like, critics were like throwing that movie in the trash. And it was awesome. And the writing for this movie was perfect. The dialogue was no cliche at all. No predictable lines. It was just, you were so interested in the script. I would love to read the script for this movie because, I don't know why. It's just sometimes after I see the movie, I want to read the script. I don't know. It's a weird habit of mine. And the drama was awesome. I mean, every time there was trying to be a happy scene, a sad scene, a funny scene, they just hit the right notes perfectly. And what I loved most about this movie is that it had flashbacks of old classical movies. Like, for example, 1941's Safety Last with Harold Lloyd with the classic him dangling from the clock. That was, and they showed footage from that movie. It was so cool to see. And it also showed a movie back in 1902 called A Trip to the Moon. Okay. I'm going to show you the picture of, like, the picture that you probably know it from if you're a really big film fan. If you don't know it and you're a film fan, what is wrong with you? Mostly what I liked about showing the old films was like showing how they were made. Just like having a little studio where they had no dialogue whatsoever. And like how they couldn't edit on like iMac, Final Cut Pro, or anything. They had to cut film strips and everything. And I'm like, this is really interesting. It was like being a big movie and filmmaking fan, seeing how they made movies back then and what the movies were like back then. I thought that was super cool. And also knowing about trivia for the movie. Like, for example, like, it took place on a train station when the train passed by the screen. People, like, jumped and were scared because they thought the train was actually going to hit them. It was such good information. And it's a lot, and I loved that, getting to know that as a film lover. As for what I didn't like, nothing. There's nothing I didn't like about this movie. I loved Everything I can remember, I loved everything about this movie. It's fun, it's dramatic, it's entertaining, and even though it's 2 hours, I couldn't tell. I forgot to mention that I could not tell it was 2 hours. I was just so interested. And now it's my third favorite movie of the year. Yeah, I bet you guys are pretty surprised. Don't worry. I was. Overall, you know what I'm going to give Hugo. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 stars. No doubt. This definitely deserves it. One of the best movies of the year. You should definitely watch this. Like now. So that's my review of Hugo, guys. I really hope you enjoyed my review. And I'm Lucas Stringer. I'll see you guys later.